Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Game From Scratch, and today we are looking at one of those quick and dirty weekend game development tools, and this one is Tilekit. Now this is a tile-based map editor that was released about 2 weeks ago. It's been updated twice since then, so it's very much under active development, and we're going to take a quick look at it, a very quick look at it, in fact, because I am under tornado and thunderstorm warnings, so the odds of me losing power are really high. So let's jump in and take a look. Now the downside is this is commercial software. It's available on itch.io at rxi.itch.io/tilekit. I will, of course, make that link available in the linked article down below, and it is built around the concept of pattern-based auto tiling. You set up a bunch of rules, and then you basically draw with really simple brushes, and then those rules fill in the map as you need. It makes it really rapid to develop maps once you've got your rule set up. So you see some examples of, as they're painting maps, the map is being painted in here. You've got features such as a unique pattern-based rule auto tiling system, map export to JSON, code export of final rule sets to C or Lua, basic object system for game entity placement, and simple animated tile system. It is $20 if you're interested. It is available for Windows and Linux, and it is an exceedingly small download. At the same time, there is you can grab this guy, the full functioning version here. It just can't export. On top of that, there is a simple manual and some demo projects to get you going. So as you can see, first released 20 days ago. And then we've had a couple of updated versions since then. So very much under active development. You may be wondering, okay, why would I choose this over tiled? And the biggest thing is going to be the procedural generation, and it's a lot easier to get going with the procedural generation. Trying to figure out Wang tiles, for example, in tiled can be a bit challenging. This one is pretty easy to get up and going. All right, so here is the manual, pretty much a one-pager, kind of walks you through setting up those rules, what the export format is like. That export format, by the way, is JSON file format. So if you want to then import the generated maps into your game engine of choice, the options are there. Hopefully in time they start creating some exporters, etc. for it. You'll notice down here, there's a couple of requests to do loaders. Who knows where that will ultimately go. There is no Mac OS 6 support right now. It'll be interesting to see where that ends up happening. But Linux users, Windows users, we're all good. All right, so we're going to jump in and take a look at this tool in action. Here is one of the maps loaded up. I'm going to do a small rant before I move on. There's one of those things about indie tools for indie gamers making indie games. There's this habit towards creating 16-bit or 8-bit throwback UIs. Now, this UI itself is fine. This font is terrible, and I'm sick of retro fonts. So we've got high-resolution monitors, and we've got good fonts to use these days. I get what you're doing here. Just please make it an option so that I can move this to like a font that doesn't suck. So anyways, here you see the tool itself in action. Here you can see the final map itself. Here is the input map that went ahead and generated it. If you want to navigate around that world, you can do so, middle mouse button, and you can see they both kind of update in kind. All right, so there is the end of our map. And then over here, you see the rules that are defining our map. We've got multiple rule sets for this guy. So you see over here, we've got a set of rules for the water. So water fill to the right, water fill to the left, and water filling down. And we've got the pattern that is showing for it. So you can see here, fill down, fill to the left, and fill to the right. So this pattern, this tile will actually cause it to just kind of flood fill with water. And you can see some examples of it down here. So this guy just basically filled left and right and down until it ran out of space. But if I drop a water, so let's go here, pick the blue tile for it, corresponding tile, and I just drop this in here, boom, we just flood filled a whole lot of water into when it bumps into another tile. That's where the rules kick in, and that is basically how the rules work. So this guy is gonna, we really just flooded the world until it kind of ran out of space. So that is the way that the pattern recognitions work here. There are multiple sets defined here. So we got trees being seeded in here, and then we've got growth of vines and so on. These kind of all work together to create this setup. There is the tile that will be dropped out of it. You can bring in a tile set over here. So let's go, let's see, map, load tile set. Now, already should be there. 1 second. So, all right, the tiles are available here. So you see they're defined in the patterns. Click here. Here is your overarching tile set. You can load those in via map load tile set. It can be a number of different file formats. One of the ones they changed out, they just recently added Targa. I guess it doesn't break down what are available there, but it's the common things, PNG, JPEG, Targa, that kind of stuff. You bring in your image format there, your spacing, so 16 by 16 pixels. And then if you have a space in between each tile, you can define that as well. So here's where you define the tile. Here's where you define the pattern. Here's you define the seed. So you'll use these particular tiles 100% of the time. We come over here, you can see some. So tree growth, we're only going to do that 38% of the time for that kind of thing. And you start setting up these rules. Tree seeds, only 8% in that particular case. And you set up all those different numbers, and then it does all the calculations for you. So let's go ahead. Here is a red tile, for example. This is the majority of your world mass here. So let's go up to the top where we've got new going on. And here's where you can see the procedural really kind of kick in. I'm just going to start drawing. I can draw here, and we can just sort of start. So see how it's smart enough to know the space between, and then boom, it did a small chance of a vine seed, 18% chance for it to drop down until it finds that other piece of land there. And that is, so if I want, I think I can, oh, I'd have to delete it to get it going otherwise. But you see how it's doing the auto tiling for us. So if we kind of go up, we get the difference, and there we got a randomly dropped ladder. And all of those things kind of work together. You basically just keep painting your map until you've got something you like. Now let's drop this down a little bit here. Let's put one up like so. So you can see how fast, once you've got your rules defined, you can start making maps really, really, really quickly. And then again, we'll come back here and we'll drop some water into that space. And then boom, it just fills it up as defined all the way to the point that you are dealing with. And you just kind of just keep going that way. I don't know if this is actually defined as anything. No, it's not. So it's just erasing things out. Should have one of these greens should do something though. No. I'm not sure. We want that guy right there. So anyways, that is kind of the basic idea behind it. There are a couple of projects that come with it. So for example, I come back here. This was nature we were looking at. Here is with a dungeon tile set. You can see the results there. And again, you come in with so we get the red brush and we got the orange brushes defined here. So let's do some changes. You see we're automatically getting walls there. Let's switch over to the orange brush. And then you see we're going to get different results as we go. So quick and dirty way of creating maps, and it's a set of rules and patterns. Again, you can have multiple. You kind of work together to calculate what kind of tiles should be put in place. So that's the dungeon example here. We've also got the basic example. This is your side style platformer. In this particular case, it showcases another aspect of it, and this is putting objects into the world. So you can switch out of Tilemap mode and into object mode like so. And here you're seeing the object editor. So here you can just kind of define arbitrary values out. So things like an ID, this is where the player spawns, the X and Y, the width and the height and so on of it there. We can add our own properties in. So is awesome. Awesomes, and we'll give it the value of true, and that'll be exported out as part of your overall export process. So that's available right here. So that's objects. You also got the support for animated tiles. So here you can see they have multiple frames of animation for the water. You can just basically define them there. And then you're seeing right here, there is the animated waddle, the animated water in the world. Here is another object that was defined, a teleporter linked between two particular locations. Again, that is defined as an object right here. You see the destination that's been specified. And those are all available via, so again, this is your rules. That was objects. So if you want to create your own, you can add a new object here and then basically define the properties that you want, as many as you want in there. And yeah, that's kind of how you would populate, your game objects, your enemies, your coins and power-ups and that kind of stuff. We've got tags. You can add a tag that goes in with any particular tile. So you can tag to a tile, thing like, I suppose you could use that for collision detection potentially, or a tile that causes you to take damage or whatever. You can define those properties via tags if you so wish. And then of course we got brush, which is this guy down here, and that's kind of it. You put all of these things together to go ahead and create maps. But the big thing here is that it's really to make the process rapid. So again, I'm going to go back here to tile map mode, and we're just going to showcase. So this is all using red and blue once again. So I'm just going to come here, pick our red. Oh, pick it. There we go. So as I change my direction, it's filling in as appropriate. So there we go. And then some green should come back to the top. Let's steeple that down slightly. Let's go down a little bit more, then back up. And then let's dump some water in there. There, boom. So we got our nice animated water filling in. And you're seeing I'm not having to come up with and select each tile individually. It's using the pattern recognition to do the work for me. Again, you can set Tileset to do a lot of this stuff for sure. Wang tiles are 100% capable of doing this, but this makes it so much easier to set up. Now, the kicker is ultimately going to have to ask yourself, is this worth the $10? And that is for you to decide, frankly. So that is it. That is Tilekit, a new tile map editor centered around pattern-based auto tiling. It's definitely an interesting project and one I will keep my eye on. Again, you can come in here, download it for Linux and Windows. The only thing is you're not going to be able to export. So basically that functionality, this stuff, it doesn't work. But other than that, you can do what you wish. So that is it. Let me know what you think. Also, let me know what you think of using retro fonts. And at least this one isn't super pixelated. It drives me even more nuts. But would you at least like this option to define your own font so you don't have to, deal with this? Let me know if you think the same as me. Comments down below, and I will talk to you all later. And hey, no lightning strikes. I still have power. Awesome. Talk to you all later. Goodbye.